Welcome back to Forgotten Working Class Podcast. I am Tiffany.
And I am John.
Today we have with us Kayla. Thank you for being here with us.
Of course. I'm so excited.
So, for everybody watching, you can find all of her social media. I'm going to drop the links. Go pay her a visit, follow all her pages. She is truly incredible.
Aw, thank you.
Where are you calling from?
I am near Toledo, Ohio, in Sylvania. So right on the edge of Michigan and Ohio.
Very nice. How's the weather up there?
Rainy. We have flood warnings right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's been raining for a day and a half now, nonstop.
Yeah.
But it's going to be nice this week, and I won't have to run my heater in the garage. So I'm excited about that.
That's awesome. Are you married? Do you have children?
Yes, married. My Kayla ring was getting stretched out, so I took that off. So people always ask, my phone's being stupid and dinging. So my husband is a police officer for Toledo. He's actually sleeping right now because he works nights. And then we have two kiddos. They are 10 and 5.
That's awesome. We love
They're in
our
school.
first responders.
Yeah.
Being a police family. Thank him for us.
Yes, I will. It's a hard job, but somebody's got to do it. And he says he can't imagine doing anything else. So
That's awesome.
like I could imagine doing literally anything else. I could never.
So you are into so many different things.
All the things.
Truly, all the things. You are one heck of a mom.
It's a blessing and a curse.
So I have to start out by saying, I've seen all your social media. You have an incredible body for a mom of 2.
Thank you. I was a health and fitness coach online for the past decade. So I started with just like, I don't know, after I graduated high school, I played volleyball in high school. And after I graduated, everyone calls it the freshman 15, but mine was just more like I didn't go to a college and live in the dorms and drink all the time. I just wanted to start being an adult. So got a house, got married, like all the things, and naturally just stopped working out and prioritizing myself. And so I got back into fitness and started going to the gym, and then I got into competing. And originally I was blogging about all of this. And when I was blogging, people were like, oh my God, how do I do what you've done? So it led into coaching online. And then, 2020, when everything was shut down, all these in-person personal trainers were like, how do I do what you're doing online? How do you coach people online? So I actually was coaching and mentoring other personal trainers on how to do online fitness training.
That's pretty cool.
Look at that.
Yeah. So it was really neat. I mean, you have to look at what's the world like? And you have to be able to adapt and see where trends are going. And so I saw a huge problem that could be solved. And I was already making a full-time income doing everything online. So I taught them how to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So now what are you doing with it? I mean,
so over the past 10 years, I actually built out my app. So I have all of my workouts on there. And through the past 10 years, I've filmed video after video after video of the things that I repeat over and over and over again. How do I know how much I should be eating? How much cardio should I be doing? How do I properly lift weights? Like all the stuff that women need. And I put it all in the Facebook community for these girls. So when they join my program, they come into the Facebook community. So they're able to ask questions and I can respond to them, but it's set up like modules. Like, here's what you do to get started if you're not currently working out or you have no idea about food. Here's, what's the minimum effective dose? Because women love to overwhelm themselves with, they feel like they have to be doing all the things on day one, which is why they crash diet and fad diet. So, taking a realistic approach of, can we just start walking this week? Okay, now this week we're just going to focus on getting some more protein in. What do I do on week 3 after I've established these things? So we're kind of like habit stacking so that we can build momentum. So they can go through on their own time, watch the videos, print the cheat sheets that I've given them, like have all of the tools, but it's very hands-off for me. The app tells them exactly what exercises to do, how many reps, how many sets. There's video for form demonstration, but I took the time to build all of that out. So then on the back end, I'm not spending time repeating those questions over and over and over again. So I work maybe a half an hour a week at this point,
That's
just if
awesome.
questions come in or whatever. And I haven't promoted that anymore because I don't really want to be coaching anymore. To be honest, I'm pretty burnt out on it because women are very challenging. My male clients are like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Women
Stop
are
it.
very emotional. They have a very hard time just showing up and doing what needs to be done. They have a very hard time prioritizing themselves because the minute their day just, the kid's sick or whatever, it turns into, I have to take care of everyone else. And now I'm run ragged and emotional. So I'm just going to eat this bag of chips and drink 5 glasses of wine for dinner. And those highs and lows, like I'm just tired of fighting that battle all the time, to be honest. I'm tired of saying, stop running your face into the ground with cardio. I'm tired of saying, eat more freaking protein and no peanut butter is not a protein source. I'm tired of saying lift some freaking weights heavier than 5 pounds. So I'm just kind of burnt out on all of that. And I recognize too that it's very saturated. Now everyone is an online personal trainer and there's tons of fitness influencers. And so I'm like, I still work out. We have a gym in our basement that we built and, I still take care of myself and I'm still happy to help when questions come in, but I don't want that to be like my main priority anymore and what I'm creating content around. So, my 10-year-old has been in school, but my 5-year-old started school this year. And I was like, what else can I do? I love DIY. I'm always doing stuff to our house. And I sold a few pieces of furniture because my style was like more farmhousey. You're probably the same way. Everyone was like farmhouse everything, right? And now it's like clean lines, minimalism, mid-century modern. So I sold a few pieces of our furniture. And when I put them out there on Facebook, people were like, wait a second. You did that to that piece of furniture? Like I have this ugly ass dresser for sorry, can I cuss by the way?
Of course you can.
Okay. So people were like, I have this ugly ass dresser for my grandma. I don't want it. My phone keeps dinging. Can you redo this for me? So I started doing some custom stuff on the side, not thinking like I'm going to start flipping furniture full time at all. I was just like, oh, something for me to do. It was spring, it was nice out. And I have not been able to keep up since. So that's kind of how that transition started. I had the free time from building out all my fitness stuff and then him going to school. And I was just like, let's do this thing.
That's incredible. And
Busy is good though. Busy is good.
It is.
yeah,
I always say, everyone's always like, how are you? I'm like, busy, but good problems to have. Like,
Yes.
trying to be thankful for being busy.
so you truly make some incredible pieces into
Thank
gold.
you.
Like,
Thanks.
are you lifting these pieces into your truck and bringing them home, or are you
Yeah.
asking for help?
Oh my gosh, you should see this. Like so this lady, my desk in my office, I got for $20 on Facebook Marketplace. It's a solid oak desk. And I get to this lady's house and she has front porch stairs and I had to drive like 40 minutes to her house. Now, if my husband comes with me, we can't fit the kids with a piece of furniture because I have a Jeep. And, then if we don't take the kids, I can't leave them home alone. So I go by myself. And she has these stairs. And then I get in and she's like, I can't help you lift this. I got a bad back. I'm like, okay. So I have to get this thing out of her house because I'm not driving back out there with someone to help me. So I like wiggled it out of her house. I put socks under the feet so I could slide it, not scratch her floors. I got it to the front porch. I tipped that sucker up and I like just bear hugged it through I took all the drawers out to make it lighter. And I got it down the stairs and she's like, just staring at me like I'm a freak of nature.
You should have handed her your phone and be like, hey, record this.
I
Because I'm
know.
gonna show people what we can do when you work out.
I need to start doing that. And I just like get a piece of furniture in front of my Jeep and I tip it. And then from the bottom, I just lift it up and shove that sucker in. And I just
What kind of
unloaded
Jeep do you have?
Right?
A
I have a
Wrangler?
Jeep.
Do you have a
Yeah,
Wrangler?
no, I don't have like a Jeep Wrangler. What do I have? A
Oh.
Jeep Cherokee.
Okay. You have a bigger trunk.
Okay,
You
if you're
fold
trying
the
to
seats
dad
down.
a Wrangler, I want to know how that's possible because that's what she has. She has a Wrangler.
Oh yeah, no, I would not be able to do it in a Wrangler. And then my husband drives a Jeep Liberty, so his is even a couple inches wider. So sometimes I have to take his Jeep. But I don't know. I mean, I didn't want to like invest in a trailer or a truck or anything like that because I really just kind of jumped into doing this. But that's something that I'm considering if I'm going to keep doing this, so that I can pick up multiple pieces at once.
Do you have a Tractor Supply around
Yeah.
your area? Yeah.
Literally 2 miles away.
Okay, so Tractor Supply rents out trailers.
Yeah, I don't have a hitch though. So
Well,
I'm
that's
just
not hard. You just
I know.
you have
So
a
that
receiver?
I'm trying to like figure out, do I want to get a hitch and then just rent a trailer when I need it? Do I
Yeah,
want to
'cause
have a
Tractor Supply
trailer?
is like $13 for the day.
Oh, that's
They're
so
like
affordable.
ridiculously cheap.
Yeah,
Not a lot of
because
people know that they rent trailers.
yeah, I'll have to do that because my gosh, sometimes I find like really beautiful sets and I'm like, I'd have to make 5 freaking trips out there.
Yeah.
I don't want
And
to
you're
do
not breaking your back.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Learn something new every day. That's perfect.
You are
So,
my
yeah,
hero.
I just, I'm like, I gotta figure it out. So I just figure it out. But yeah, maybe that's why I work out now. Just deadlifting furniture.
That's
You
awesome.
gotta work out because of
Actually,
your
I was
DIY.
going to make a video of me like deadlifting in my gym. And then the next clip is, so it's like I do this so I can do this and like
That would be
deadlifting furniture.
hilarious. That'd be a good
Yeah.
video.
Okay. We'll do that. I got an eyelash
So
bugging
you
me over.
also have, what was it, paint?
Yes. So I use Fusion mineral paint. When I started doing furniture for myself 10 years ago, that chalk paint was like the only option, right? So I started using chalk paint, which is great because you don't have the fumes. That's what I wanted, was to be able, we had like a 1.5 car garage. So I didn't have room to like have a piece of furniture out in my garage and work on it. I had to bring it in the house, put it on a sheet. So I couldn't use paint with a bunch of fumes. So chalk paint is soap and water cleanup, no fumes, pretty easy to work with, but I really hate the texture of it. It feels chalky when it's done. And I'm like, I don't want to say I'm neurodivergent, but I'm neurodivergent. So when I touch chalk painted furniture, I'm just like, ugh, it just gives me the ick. So like
Weird feeling,
10 or so years ago, Fusion, maybe it was 14 years ago, I don't know, but Fusion came out with this mineral paint. And the store that I used to go to buy chalk paint started carrying it. And she's like, have you tried this yet? No. What's the difference? Well, super easy to apply. You don't have the brush strokes, same thing, but it's more buttery smooth and you get a soft matte finish like chalk paint, but it's a lot smoother in texture. So I was like, okay, as soon as I started painting it, there was not the chalky drag of the paintbrush that I can't stand. And I've just used it ever since. The difference too is when you use chalk paint, you have to top coat that piece. You either have to wax it or you have to apply a top coat to it. So waxing sucks because if you ever want to touch up your piece, you have to remove all of that wax or your new paint won't adhere to it. If you top coat it and then you touch it up, well, now you have a different sheen. So now you have to re-top coat it. So the Fusion mineral paint has built-in acrylic. So 21 days, it fully cures. It's waterproof. It's hard. I can scratch it. So I'm like, this is just the best. So I don't have to top coat pieces either. So yeah, I've been using that for ever now. I don't know why my phone keeps doing this. So yeah, I decided, when I started doing some custom work for people and it was picking up and I'm selling pieces left and right, I'm like, maybe I should look at getting a consignment booth. And, if I have 3 or 4 pieces that are done, I'll have them there instead of having them in my house. Cause my husband was like, you got to stop with the furniture shit. You are crazy and you have 3 pieces in your office. Cause they would take like a week to sell. And so I got in the consignment shop and it's just nonstop. And I thought, what better way to, add recurring revenue is to just sell the paint in the background. And half of what I make every month is from my paint sales.
Wow.
So that's nice because it's no work. And I have to put the tags on the paint and put it in my booth, but it just sits in the background for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And people will come in and even if they don't want the piece of furniture, they see the color because I make little color tags for them. And they're like, ooh, that would be perfect for my bedroom. I'm going to buy that paint and redo my piece. So it works out really great having the done pieces in my booth so they can see the colors, touch it, feel it, that sort of thing.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
didn't tell you about this, but you were showing some really awesome glasses.
Oh,
Did
the
you remember that?
stoggles. Yeah, I forgot to
Go
grab
get
them.
them.
What?
Go
Okay,
get
I
'em.
will.
She
My cat might jump up here.
That's all right. She picked up these really awesome glasses online. She'll tell us all about them, but they're safety glasses for women. and she uses them while she's working. I'm
Okay.
excited to see them because they're super cute.
They are. And this was the problem I had. Yeah, they look like regular glasses, but they have the eye protection on the sides.
Look at
They're
that.
anti-fog, and they come in all these different colors.
Or
So I was like,
mine.
oh, I'll get the blush
Don't even.
ones. I think they make men's ones too. But
Yes.
the problem
have
is
some.
you have some?
They're not like as nice as those, but
Oh, yeah, I
they're
thought
like
they were.
this big.
Oh
Yeah,
my
his are
God.
huge. Those are
Well,
cute.
I had
Yeah.
a really old
They have the
pair.
safety piece inside.
Right. And they were for men. So I'd put them on, and every time I looked down, they would fall off my face like this. And I just
Wait a
finally
minute. What company is it that makes
Stog.
those?
You probably can't see it. Stoggles.
Stoggles.
Yeah.
So I just seen another company on Instagram. I keep seeing their ad, and they make
might be them.
sunglasses that are like safety glasses, but they're good looking sunglasses, and they
Yeah.
also have those eye protection pieces on the side.
Right. They do have the option too that you can get your prescription lenses in them.
That's
so
nice.
I wear contacts every day, so I don't really need that, but that would be really nice for someone who actually wears glasses.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just thought those were so awesome for women because we've
Yes.
talked to so many women in blue
Yeah.
collar, out there working, grinding, all kinds of stuff. Those are great.
Yeah. I mean, it is frustrating that there are a lot of, I would say there's a lot more female furniture flippers than there are men. There are men out there that do it, but technically it's like woodworking, and there is nothing for women in terms of style. That's why I started making shirts,
I love it.
because I'm like, I am a huge fan of wearing witty, funny, sarcastic stuff, and everything
I love
is
it.
for men.
Yeah.
Even like to stay warm out in the garage. I was like, oh, I'll go look at Carhartt stuff. Well, Carhartt stuff is really scratchy. It's thick. It's not comfortable for women. And then what other brands have stuff for women to wear when they're working out in the garage? There's
Right.
really not that many. So yeah.
I was dying with your MILF shirt.
Yeah.
Man, what is it?
I have two that I've made. One is Man I Love Fall, and the other one is Man I Love Flipping.
Yes.
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 Hilarious.
I'm just I have a very dry sense of humor. I'm very sarcastic, and I just get the biggest kick out of stuff like that. So
It's funny.
It is.
yeah. Yeah.
We
So I
love
thought, why not? I'll just make my own stuff since no one has it for us.
And just another thing you do.
Another thing I do. That, make sourdough, drink craft beer, read a lot of books. I'm so basic, really. I just do a lot of the basic things.
I love it. We could totally chill if you were in Florida.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Actually, I don't know where you guys are at, but my parents bought property in Florida, and I'm going to come back in,
More
I think I'm
about
going to go in September. They bought near, okay, do you say it Boca Grande or Boca Grande?
I believe it's Boca Grande.
Okay. My husband said it depends what color your skin is. I'm like, because he's like, you're white. You say Boca Grande. I'm like, oh, that's okay. Because he's like, the Mexicans probably do say Boca Grande, but we don't know. So, anyways, my parents are really close to there. They're in Rotunda West.
Okay.
So
We don't know where that is. If that's in Boca, that's like 30 minutes from us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're like,
Boca
I want to
Raton.
say 7 minutes from Boca. So,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right
oh
down
my
Okay.
the
gosh.
road.
Okay. So I think I'm going to come back in like September to pick out all of the design choices with them for their new house that they're building. So
Nice.
maybe we'll be able to meet up. That would be
Absolutely.
cool.
Yes.
Awesome.
September is beautiful down here. Get ready. It's going to be hot.
I don't care. I'm dealing with this
It's
crap
hot
every day.
Every day it's
It's
hot.
better than 40 freaking degrees.
You say
Stupid.
that now until you come down here and it's like 90 degrees and like the humidity is through the roof. You'll wish
I
you had
do
that
prefer
40,
dry
50
heat.
degrees.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I do prefer dry heat, but in general, I was made for the sun. I am just a lizard.
We got plenty of that down here.
So you also
Yeah.
do a lot of talking about how to dispose of your materials.
Yeah. I actually posted about staining rags before my sister's accident, and it really didn't get a lot of traction. And it made me think to post it because I saw in a furniture flipping Facebook group a girl went out to her garage and her bucket that she threw her stain rags in was ashes, the whole thing. And she was like, oh my gosh, you guys be careful. And because content is everywhere, I'm like, ooh, that would make great content to remind people. So I'd posted about it on TikTok before. No one really cared. No one really cares until there's emotion tied to it. And unfortunately, sometimes people have to experience things personally or vicariously through someone else's story, then they start caring. So I shared my sister's house actually burnt down. I lost my nephew, and my middle nephew was severely burned in the house fire. And this was because their mulch around their home that was installed spontaneously combusted. And I didn't make that video to talk about mulch. I just wanted to make the connection that there are a lot of things that you could be using in your garage, in your workshop, that can catch fire that you're just not aware of. Be careful. And this video went viral. I mean, it still just continues to circulate. So I did go back and answer a lot of questions that came in around mulch, but I'm not a freaking mulch expert. I'm like, I don't know, go ask Google, like go to the fire department and ask questions. I don't know, but I was trying to do my best to just respond. People took the time to leave comments. And so I like when I ask questions and people post a video like that that's going viral. I like when they respond and they're not just like, that was a one and done. I'm over it now. So yeah, I try to also educate about that stuff. And I need to do better about educating about the dangers of fumes and dust and things like that. Because, it's easy to just, especially when it's hot, it's easy to not wear a mask or, not throw your safety glasses on or whatever. And it's just, I don't know, it's scary. And I do worry about the long-term health effects of flipping furniture. Luckily the paint, that stuff that I use, there are no fumes, but stains, using wood fillers. Like I use a 2-part wood filler that cures, and that is extremely stinky stuff. So there are some things, or even if paint doesn't have fumes, if you're spraying it, those particles can still be inhaled. So
Are you using a legit respirator?
No, I need to get one.
So you can go pick one up, Tractor Supply.
Yeah, right.
Tractor Supply, sponsor them.
Tractor Supply. No, but Tractor Supply, you can go there once again. I mean, Walmart, you can probably go get one. Get a decent respirator, a 3M respirator with your filters on the sides.
Right. That's what I need, is one with the filters. I do have the N95 masks.
Yeah, when it comes to those fumes and stuff like that, that'll seep right through there. That's not completely tight to your face. The 3M ones, those are like that rubber seal.
Yeah.
They're going to be more comfortable, first of all, because the straps and everything are way comfortable.
Right.
And it's going to be easier to breathe. You're not going to smell a thing.
Yeah.
Definitely safer.
I need to do that, especially in the winter, because I crack the garage door, but I run my heater.
Yeah.
So I have and I use kerosene, which is why I crack the door. You can't just have your heater going and have it all sealed off. So I'm doing that. And there's just not the airflow that there is when I have my garage door open in the summer and I'm working on stuff. Then I'm a little less concerned, but spray paints, anything like that. And then I have seen also the air purifiers that people have shared on TikTok, and I debated getting one of those, and it'll kind of light up, or it'll ding you when you're at a certain level, and then it'll help dissipate all of that. So I've considered getting one of those too.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how great that would work.
Yeah, I don't know.
Air purifier? It's
almost, I don't even know if it's a purifier. It's almost like a carbon monoxide monitor.
Okay.
I know the video that I saw that went viral, the girl had it right inside of her door coming in the house. And she said something about there were fumes in the garage. And when she opened the door, the mechanism inside the house alerted her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to look into those too. But yeah, just it's important to, be careful and know what you're working with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because the DIY part of things is we're not professionals, and so we forget some of that stuff, or we just don't know. And that's what I see a lot with people with the staining rags. They just get done staining and throw it on the floor or throw it in a bucket. Or I had hundreds of comments of people that were like, oh my God, I just threw mine out in our garbage. I need to go get them. I mean, it can spontaneously combust in your garbage can and catch your house on fire. This is serious stuff. But
Yeah,
That's
we used to have to throw all our rags out at work because we didn't have like stain or anything, but we have mineral spirits,
yep.
which is highly flammable.
Yep.
And same thing, there's like two different ones. One's like real oily, and then one is very dry. The
Hmm.
one that's dry is like very, very flammable.
Yeah.
All our rags right to the trash. Take that trash, run it to a dumpster, get it away from the
Right. And
area you're in.
I think like people know that this stuff is flammable, but that's where the confusion comes in is they're like, well, I'm not smoking near it, or there's not some sort of lit match, or we're not, throwing our standing rags out by our fire pit, but they will spontaneously combust. It does
Yeah.
not need an ignition source. The heat that is generated from it essentially evaporating is like the easiest way to explain it, is what causes the fire. So, that's what I was trying to make people aware of. But yeah, it's, I did another video just sharing like, this is what you're supposed to do with your staining rags. And then it's up to people to actually do it. And I was really hesitant to post that video because anything that revolves around like safety of stuff, I just get nervous about because I want people to do their own research. I don't want to tell them you should be doing this. And I give any sort of incorrect information. Just people are nasty about that kind of stuff. So
Well, just
I
make sure
tried.
in every video you do, you tell them that you're not a professional, and
Yeah.
but your advice and
this could happen to
this
anyone.
could yeah.
Right.
You're not telling people like you need to do this. You're giving your opinion and trying to help.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I give my opinion too on my videos.
Yeah. And I mean, people love to give their opinion anyway. So I guess
yeah.
I overthink it. Everyone else shares their opinion and some of them are really stupid, but I don't know. Because it's a safety thing, it just kind of concerned me. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to tell people what they should be doing, but I did. I just prefaced in the video, like, please, I'm going to tell you what I do, but please do your own research. Like, I don't want to be responsible for it.
I think that we don't see a lot of people preaching safety anymore.
Yeah.
It's you hear it.
It's a touchy subject, and
on
that's why
jobs
we're
and
here.
stuff. People talk about it, your safety meetings, this and that. But once you leave a safety meeting, I've done it. You walk out and it's like, okay, yeah. But
yeah, you think like it'll never happen to me too.
Oh yeah,
right.
But to see everyday people, especially you're doing it at home. You're not doing this for a business. You're just trying to help out other people that are doing it and tell them, hey, this could happen. It's a good thing.
Yeah. And I just, I am encouraging women who, like, there's girls that comment like, oh, I wish I could paint furniture like you. And I'm like, you totally can. This is actually really simple stuff. It requires you to clean it, to lightly scuff sand it, and then you paint it. Like, it's not rocket science.
I did a whole dining room table a couple years ago. That was rough because you have the wood back slats in the chairs, and I couldn't get in between. So I'm like sanding, and it's just.
I won't do chairs.
I could leave the house. I'm like, all right, I'm going to work. I come home from work and like 2 walls are painted a different color. She's painting a baseboard over here. Don't touch that because that's wet over there. I'm like, what is happening?
That is
Why
so
is there so much paint in the house?
I start new projects all the time. My husband's like, hey, you gonna finish that thing you started in the basement? I'm like, no.
That is my problem.
Yeah. Like ADHD, and I've never been diagnosed with it, but I would say I'm definitely a DIY ADHD person. But yeah, I will not do chairs. People will email me like, hey, I have, this set. How much would it be for you to refinish this? And I was like, honestly, what you're going to pay me to do your chairs, you might as well go buy brand new ones because I'm going to take you $1,000.
It's
like,
tedious.
I'm not doing it. Yeah. It sucks. I mean, it would be different if I had like a sandblaster or something and I could just spray them and get all the other crap off, but
Tractor Supply.
No, I'm not getting that.
She's trying to make money, not spend money.
I thought I'd throw that one in.
Well, actually, there's a guy that lives like a mile away from me that does furniture stripping and refinishing. And I've debated like, when people ask me for a quote on something like their chairs, like, yeah, let me get back to you. And then sending him like, how much would you charge to strip these chairs for me? I'll repaint them for them, but I'm not stripping them. No way.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
That's an easy collab.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was debating that. I hate stripping stuff. Honestly, that's the worst part. Which, I mean, some stuff isn't bad, but like, especially if I'm running the heater in the winter, I don't want to go out and deal with stripper and it like affects the drying time of it. And it needs to stay wet so that you can actually strip stuff. And oh my God, I just hate dealing, and it stinks. It's just, and there is a really good stripper on the market. I have not used it yet, but I want to try it. I want to say the brand is QCS, Stripwell. They make a non-toxic, eco-friendly stripper, and everyone swears by it. But I'm like, really, if it's non-toxic, how great does that actually strip? Because you need like the most toxic stuff to strip furniture.
You need something very potent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I'll get it and do an honest review on it.
So you have so much stuff going on.
What is it when people try and join your life? Are they just weirdos?
I don't know. It does it a lot on mine too. And I don't know if they're trying to join or it's just suggesting that they want to join. I don't know. I get it all day. Weird. When I go on live, it'll come up all day.
That's
it says,
so strange.
Invite this person.
Yeah. I just went live on TikTok while we're doing this so people can hear the banter.
Nice. We've thought about doing that before too.
Yeah,
but well, speaking of TikTok, that is how I came across your page, and you did have your video go viral, unfortunately. But we appreciate you so much raising awareness with us on a few different things here, and my heart goes out to your family, and I want to get this on camera for you. If your nephew ever wants to meet John as he's getting older, we are more than happy to meet him.
Yeah.
All of you. That would be so sweet. You know, I mean, my sister's kind of going through, like, my parents wanted to take him to the movie theater, and she is like, just because this is still so new for all of them, and he is only 5, so he doesn't notice that people look at him weird, but we're kind of like starting to navigate some of that. Like, you know, she's like, I want to keep him as innocent as possible, and I don't want him aware that people stare at him and gawk, but that's what's happening.
It's inevitable.
Yeah. And navigating like laser treatment and stuff like that. Which, have you done laser treatment? Yeah.
I will tell you, I bet the doctor would suggest anyways, for a 5-year-old, they would put him under to do it because laser is extremely painful. It really is.
They do. They put him out, and then he's there for a few hours after, just sleeping, recovering.
I did 7 sessions awake, and it is painful, but
it makes a difference.
It is night and day. I mean, the first time you do it, it's like, oh, you know, I don't feel much difference. Second time, I was like, holy shit, like, I can feel a difference. And then I could start turning my neck and moving, because when I got out of the hospital, like, I could move about there.
Yeah.
And I move just like that. I could turn my head this way, but it would not allow it to turn. So laser is definitely a plus. It does help.
So does it just help loosen up like the scar tissue?
Yeah, it breaks up all the scar tissue.
Okay.
They have, so the woman that I went, she is the OG of laser. Like, she is the
guru.
She's the one invented doing laser on scar tissue.
So you have the best of the best.
Yeah, she is the best of the best.
She's been to Congress. She passed so much stuff through Congress.
God. Truly amazing. She's also an amazing, just a person. Like, she's very humble, very nice. You take it by your speed. But she has like 10 different lasers in the office that she uses, and they're all for certain things.
Wow.
You know, they have one that will burn holes in a popsicle stick. Like,
my gosh.
But that's what it does. It breaks up all the scar tissue and helps it where you can start to have, you know, the range of motion.
Yeah.
Where's his scars?
So his face isn't really bad at all. I think they're still doing treatment to his face, but his neck is where it really starts to protrude. I mean, they're very thick and they really stick out, and they are bright red.
So that's what.
Yeah, and like I would say his are even thicker than, I mean, they look like a giant worm vein coming out.
Yeah,
of
it's a
his
big
neck.
cord.
Yeah.
It's where they attached
So
his skin to the donor skin.
okay. Yeah, so they're on his neck. I mean, his back is burned. His hands were fully grafted from skin on his thighs. So he does wear like compression gear to help all of that, you know, not stick out as much. So I think that's helped some. But like his thighs, I was playing catch with him on Easter and we were just in the living room and like throwing the ball back and forth. And he like lunged really far to grab the ball and he's like, ow, 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 ow. So the area where they grafted from his thighs must be really tight still.
The area they took the graft from.
Yes.
So
yes. Sorry, I don't know all the proper lingo for everything, but yeah, the area where they took skin from to do the grafts.
Yeah,
John still hurts.
So I have different spots. I got both legs, my thighs were taken 3 each. And then my back, I think, what, 3?
2.
2 off my back. But my right leg has like really bad nerve damage now. It's all healed. It looks great, but the nerve damage is like feels like you're stabbing it with a knife if you just touch it perfect. Some days it hurts out of nowhere. But
that's what I was wondering is like the area where they took skin from, I would assume would be a lot more tender than where you're burned, because where you're burned, those nerves have been damaged. Is that correct?
Yeah,
it's like really, really bad road rash is where when they take it from your leg, it is extremely painful. But then yeah, it does heal up. You'll have scars, but it does heal up pretty decent. For him with his grafts and their healing, like you just said, you were out playing catch with him. That is the best thing. Get him outside, get him moving, because the more he moves, the better it is.
And for his hands especially.
Yes.
We've seen children not use their hands, not want to stretch, and it affects them. He doesn't want to have more surgeries.
I had one doctor tell me that I had to have a neck brace on when I got out of the hospital for these scars, and it ended up I wore the neck brace too long, and the scars healed really tight.
Yeah.
They had to do a relief cut. They had to cut it, open it, sew it up again, and all that. And it still didn't. They didn't really do much.
No, we were talking about another one, but again, every patient is different.
But movement,
and kids are constantly moving.
Yes.
So I'm sure he is moving.
Yeah, it's been kind of like when you spay and neuter dogs and you have to like give them sleeping stuff so they don't go crazy. Like that's kind of how he has been as a kid. Is my sister's like, honey, you have to be careful because I mean, when we were still at Mott's Children's Hospital, you know, OT, PT came in and had him moving because he really actually did have to kind of relearn how to walk because he was out for 3 weeks. I mean, he was on a feeding tube or IV for food and was completely bedridden and in a medical coma for weeks. So his nervous system, his muscles, everything were just, you know, he atrophied. So watching him use a walker, I mean, he was just like, so, I mean, him eating, him reaching to grab his spoon, he was so shaky. So he kind of had to like rework his nervous system. So they came in and worked with him on all of that. And I would assume also to make sure that he was moving the areas where he was burned and stuff. But once he got home, it's like my sister, she's like, you got to be a little careful, man. But he's off to the races now. He's moving a ton, doing a ton. Started going back to.
Do they have burn meetings at the hospital near you?
They did. They came in a lot to talk to her about burn stuff, about grief, about, you know, how to explain what happened to the boys. The baby, he's almost 18 months, but like, he's not going to understand anything you're telling him. But for Harvey, for him to understand what happened, it wasn't his fault, you know, how to deal with the loss of a brother, you know, fears, irrational or rational, that come up, how to work through that with him, just the entire support of how to get through the multiple things that happened.
Because I don't think that they probably do burn meetings for children at this age. Is probably more one-on-one with the therapist at the hospital, trauma support psychologist. But at our hospital.
Yeah, I was going to say, so for like Christmas, we gather toys and collect toys for donations for all the kids that have been burned at Jackson Memorial down in Miami, where I went.
Oh, that's so
We've
sweet.
done it for the last 3 years.
This year is going to be 4 years. Yep.
Oh
And
my goodness.
it truly is.
We get hundreds of toys.
like,
It's incredible.
Last year crushed it. We collected over, I would say, probably close to 200 toys.
Yeah.
And then when we got there had to be 5,000 toys.
Oh my God.
And we bring our children now, which they are 13 and 5. And they help see all the kids with boo-boos.
What I was getting to, my point was that, to have a place that he can go and see other kids that have been burned and that look similar with scarring, and you're like, oh, well, he looks the same as me. It'll give him that confidence. But you'll also have siblings there that are not burned that don't see scars.
Right.
So my son is 5 years old.
He was only 1 when this happened to John.
We met a family that her son's name is JJ, and he was in a house fire and he was burned severely. I mean, just his face, his hands,
He's only
everything.
2. I think he just turned 3.
I think he just turned 3.
My God.
But my son,
they hit it off.
Yeah, they were playing with a balloon the whole day, running around. Like, he doesn't see scars. And you said, he was kind of worried about what people, when they stare at him, it just helps see that not everybody is looking at you. There is people out there that will look at you and just see you.
But it is hurtful for me to see people staring at John. My daughters broke down in tears before people staring. But it is great to involve him and you guys and cousins and family and, as much normalcy as possible.
That and you meet people that could be around your area that you didn't know.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, my sister mentioned, because the community really came together and just donated, because they had nothing. I mean, their house was a total loss. He was in the hospital without shoes, So people came together and just donated toys and what do you need? What do you need? I mean, just simple toiletries, a freaking toothbrush, which the hospital had those things. But I'm like, I text her, I'm like, are you on your period? Do you need pads? Like the dumb stuff that we just don't realize that we need on a daily basis. And so the community donated so much stuff. A restaurant near them was like, hey, we have this restaurant that's not open yet. We'll use it as a warehouse. We're just going to, the news interviewed them and they're like, this is a warehouse space. If you have donations, just drop it off at Brand Steakhouse. Yeah. So my mom and other people were going through everything and figuring out what do they need, what do they not need. And my sister said, we have so much stuff that maybe eventually we can turn this into some sort of foundation. Like we have a storage unit. And when this happens to another family, not if, because it will, when this happens to another family, we'll be able to say, here's the keys, go in there, take anything that you need, and just thinking, because I'm very much how can you turn your pain into purpose or your story into helping people. My sister's not quite at that point yet because it's still very, very difficult for her to relive what happened, and the grief is overwhelming and whatever. And so, I'm like, just think about that. It doesn't have to be now. This could be 5 years from now that you have a way that you want to have a mission for this or a purpose for this. And I mean, just with my video already and the videos that she's done, I think of how many lives, Colin touched with his story. And that's exactly who this kid was. Just the most precious child, always wanting to take care of everyone else and just be kind to people. He's just the cutest thing. And so I'm like, here he is. He's not even here. And he's going to continue to take care of people and do that and live out his story. And so I just keep telling her, you don't have to do it right now. Everything she's going so overwhelming. Yeah.
It's going to make me cry. When I saw your video, I couldn't believe it. I never would have thought that mulch.
I know.
Did that. You're just, you see it around everybody's house. We're in South Florida. It's in my front yard right now.
I mean, it's the most commonly used landscaping item. It's just crazy. And my sister said the same thing, she does if I could go back and I would have done rock instead. And I try to remind her, don't do that to
You can't
yourself.
say that to yourself. You can't say if I could go back. You know how many times I told myself that? Oh, if I
I
could go
know.
back, I'd never go to work that day.
Yeah.
But you can't. It doesn't exist. It's not real.
Yep.
You can't stay in the present. You can't go back in time. You have to go forward.
And turning pain into purpose.
Yes.
It will come to her.
But like you just said,
You
it
guys
could
are
take
already
5 years. That's
right.
where
It
we're at.
did.
It took
This
5
is
years.
5 years this year, September.
I just started doing social media and, scars. People see scars. That's like,
welcome to the circus.
yeah.
No.
It's like a train wreck. People love a train wreck.
Yeah.
You can't look away. So when I started doing social media, it was like, and I knew, and I get it all the time. People are like, "I'm so sorry to ask you this," or "I feel so rude." I wouldn't put my story on social media if I didn't know people were going to ask me questions. How this is
Sure.
what I look like. I knew the questions are going to come in.
Yeah. Well, and
but
so I
it
used
does feel
to,
really good
right.
because you do have a lot of people that will come into your comments, that will private message you, and I tell everybody
the outpour of support, like true, genuine support, has been unreal.
And I tell everybody, if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask me. I'm not that person to be like, how dare you?
Sure.
And if you want to private message me and you have something you want to tell me about your story, go ahead. And it is just, I had a guy message me on Instagram, and he told me that my story saved his life. The day before he committed to it, that I'm going to kill myself. And then the next morning when he woke up, he decided to go on Instagram, found my story, and immediately was like, this guy's gone through this. Why am I going to do this? And he messaged me like, I'm talking paragraphs.
There's
and I was
always
like,
going to be people who
that's
have
how I
had it
felt.
worse, who have had it easier. Like what you have done is so inspiring. It's life-changing. It's opening people's eyes. You're raising awareness. The world needs to see it, needs to hear it.
They do.
You're honoring your nephew. And
when your sister's ready, she'll know what to do. And,
sure.
Your nephew, him not being here, he's going to still help tremendous amount of people.
Absolutely. I mean, I've already seen it. It's crazy to me. And I just, I love that you are opening up the opportunity for people to ask questions, because I worked with kids with autism for over 10 years. And in April, it's Autism Awareness Month, right? And everyone talks about autism awareness, autism awareness. Well, there's a difference between autism awareness and autism understanding. And people are aware that there's autism, but they still stare at kids in public when they're stimming and, when they're nonverbal and they make noises and whatever. And so I think by giving a safe place for people to ask the weird questions that they're curious about, it's just like my kids, they see someone in a wheelchair and they're like, well, how do they, go grocery shopping if they're in a wheelchair? How can they push a cart? Those are genuine questions. I'm curious to know how the heck they do it. Some days I can't manage even with this God-given ability, how do they do it? But we feel stupid asking those questions, or we feel like we're going to insult someone by asking those questions. So, I love that you give people a safe space to ask that stuff.
See, I've worked blue collar my whole life, and in the blue collar industry, you can't have feelings. You can't have thin skin. And, not anybody, no questions are going to hurt my feelings, or I'm going to be like, I can't do this now.
Yeah.
So that's why I started doing that, because I'm not offended by what people are going to say.
But most of our guests have been the same way. And some are, paralyzed in wheelchairs. Others have illnesses. They want people to ask. They want to help raise that awareness.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you now, out of all of my videos, Instagram, TikTok, on Facebook, TikTok, I have videos that have gone just skyrocketed. Thousands and thousands of comments. Out of all my platforms, I think I can count maybe 5 or 6 comments that were actually people being assholes.
Right.
Like trying to be rude. Other than that, every other comment is support. And it was absolutely mind-blowing, because I've had people ask me, like, how much hate do you get? You know, how many, and I make fun of myself all the time. I've dressed up like Deadpool. I've dressed up like Ragnar from Vikings. I mean, but out of all the comments, and I've prepared myself, I was like, wait, people are going to talk so much shit. No. It is absolutely amazing to see the amount of support that you get in from all over the world.
And that's why when your nephew is ready and he's older and, you know, we are here. We're here for all of you guys.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, he's so little right now, but I think, you know, eventually, I don't know, we call him Hurricane Harvey because he's just like he's a silly kid and he's full of energy. And so I'm like, when he gets older and he gets all of this figured out, he could be really entertaining and, you know, help other people and stuff. But
just show him one of my TikTok videos of my
scars. I will. I'm going to have to show him and be like, look how cool he is. Yeah.
You gotta find the one Deadpool then.
Yeah.
Someone dressed up as a superhero.
He probably would love that because he was obsessed with Spider-Man. So when he was in the hospital, people sent tons of Spider-Man stuff, and someone came dressed up as Spider-Man, and he was just like, he lost his mind over it. So
I love it.
Cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. So how do you, when you get those very seldom comments of hate, because people always ask me this, how do you deal with the haters?
How do I deal with it?
Yeah.
Well, you said yourself you have a dry humor and you're very sarcastic, right?
Yep.
That's how if you're going to hate on me, I'm just going to dish it back to you. I'm not going to be like, oh, how dare you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like one guy, he said something slick to me and I was like, oh, you didn't get enough attention, I guess. And that's what it is. He's feeling salty. Yeah. And that was it. And then he just, you know, I had another guy say he doesn't care about my video. I could care less. You cared enough to comment.
Yeah.
And then he went on and I said, well, you cared enough again to comment.
Yep.
That's it. I'm not going to sit on here and waste my breath and argue because I don't care.
Yeah.
You're not hurting my feelings again.
Right. No. Yeah. There's certain times that I just won't even address it because I'm like, this person clearly needs so much validation and attention, and I'm not going to reinforce that.
But I'll tell you this, you don't have to address it.
No, right.
People will.
I had one guy, I forget, it wasn't even like that bad. Like it was one of those comments I was flipping through and I was like, you know, all right. Just kept going. And it was something so stupid, but my people, my supporters on my TikTok lit him up. I mean, it was like 70 something comments under his, like going back, like you're an asshole, get off TikTok.
Right.
Like they just lit him up and I didn't have to say one word. And I was like, y'all are great.
Right.
I didn't have to do anything.
But I do love addressing stuff with a sense of humor, and because that also generates more engagement and, you know, it shows your personality. And so people are more likely to follow you because they're like, oh my God, you know, she's not afraid to take shit, or she's really funny or whatever. And that's just how I am about everything. I mean, I grew up in a family that the way that you show love is just by ragging on each other. Like I knew that my dad liked my husband before I married him because my dad picked on him. I was like, oh, my dad likes him. So that's just what I grew up with. So yeah, sometimes I address it and, you know, give it back. Other times I just don't say anything because I'm like, you do not even deserve 1 ounce of my attention. And then everyone else goes at it in the comments, but.
That's what I do. If it's like a really bad one, maybe I'll say something, but I usually let them just get eaten up by somebody else because I will Instagram, there's more savages on Instagram than TikTok.
Really?
Yeah, hands down. I had one guy say something slick on Instagram. Once again, it was a comment that I was like, you know, that was a lame comment. Like, that wasn't even good enough to respond to.
They ate him alive.
They ate him alive, and I mean ruthless comments. Like,
oh my gosh.
They looked this dude's profile up. They went through his profile. They were ragging on him through other shit on his profile. I was like, Jesus Christ.
You got some warriors.
Yeah.
He really does.
I was like, damn.
So if you're afraid to raise awareness or speak your mind, don't be.
Oh, yeah. I'm not. I'm like, this is my platform. I get to say whatever I want to say. If you don't like it, you can block me. You can scroll past. Like, if you have a problem with it, that's you taking responsibility for watching my video. That is not my problem.
But if you're on there trying to spread awareness about safety and you're trying to help other families and people, for somebody to get on there and give you shit about it, it's pointless because that just shows that's that kind of person that you're going to get on and hate for somebody trying to do something good.
Right.
You know, the other people will see that, and I'm telling you, they will just light into these people.
Yeah. Sorry that keeps dinging in the background. I don't know how to turn that off on my phone. My phone always wants to tell me that it's connecting to my Mac. I'm like, yep, got it. I knew that. And it just does it all day long. I don't know how to turn it off. Oh my gosh. Speaking of turning things off, I went live the other day with my daughter. We were doing diamond art. We get to the end of the video and I was like, how do I end this live on TikTok?
You couldn't
She's
figure
like,
out the button.
oh my God. I said, I feel like my dad. Anytime I try to tell him to do anything on his phone, he's like, how do I do this? I'm like, I'm getting old that I don't
That's
know
how we are, learning all this technology.
Yesterday, you should have seen us. Did you tune into my live yesterday at all?
No, I was so busy in the garage yesterday.
Yesterday, you've been like, what the hell are they fucking doing? So we bought a new computer for the podcast.
Yeah.
Because it's just way easier to use this. Well, then she was like, hey, we can do your TikTok live on that too. And we set it all up, and it was like
so
completely different from what you look at on your phone. I mean, there's more options. There's all kinds of different, you can set it up the way you want. So then we did it. We went live. We're testing it. You get like 5 people in. All right, well, that's not right. End it. Put it back on. We went in and out of live like 6 times yesterday, and I was like, we're done doing this. Let's just get the phone back on the phone and deal with it like that.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I haven't used TikTok live in probably I don't know, maybe since when it first came out, a couple years, I feel like. So I was like, I don't know where anything is on here. And then I'm like, how do I see comments? Maybe no one's commenting. Like, I just felt like such a older millennial not knowing how to use technology.
Cool. So funny. Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Well, we can't thank you enough for being here with us and sharing everything. Your family has touched our hearts. And
we're always here.
Yes,
we are always here.
Well, thank you. I'm honored that you guys asked me to be here. Like, it's just incredible. And, you know, it's one thing I know people love to rag on social media and like there's trolls and it's bad for you. And which I don't let my kids have social media yet for those reasons. I don't think it is safe for them. But there is the flip side where it connects you with so many people that you would have never met otherwise. And I have some amazing friends online that I've never met in person. And I'm just so grateful that we have that available to us, you know? Yeah. So I'll have to, the next time that I'm with my sister, I'll have to get in touch with Harvey and maybe he can send you a video message or something like that. And I'll show him.
Absolutely. We can FaceTime.
Yeah, we can FaceTime.
Yeah, I'll have to do that.
That'd be awesome.
And when you come down to Boca, let us know.
Yeah.
Yes, I will have to. We'll have to go get
not far from Boca,
lunch or something.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, you guys.
Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
Keep it up. I want to see more awesome furniture. And hey, maybe you might see me lifting some weights.
Yes, please.
Keep stripping. You're doing good.
Yeah. All right, thanks. Instead of OnlyFans, we got Only Flips over here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Kayla.
You're welcome. I'll see you guys.
Yeah.